The question many Kenyans are asking, and even pundits on live television interviews have failed to answer, is what was the purpose of Wednesday's demonstrations? Of course, the media have dubbed it a commemoration of last year's Gen Z protests. If that is anything to go by, we only saw 4 families, accompanied by the former Chief Justice David Maraga, have a procession and shortly went to Nation Center, and addressed press conference. And before noon, they were nowhere to be seen again. And that is the time when now we saw protests now hitting the streets proper. Many proponents of these demonstrations, depending on who you ask, will tell you it was a commemoration of last year's Gen Z. Some will tell you it's a protest against Albert Ojwang's killing. Some will tell us about bad governance, and so many things. So what was the real purpose of this year's demonstrations? Because clearly it has come out that it was not a Gen Z affair. Gen Z's demonstrations have been spontaneous and it has been happening across the country, But this year's demonstrations did not happen across the country, You cannot tell me that Gen Zs only exists in Nairobi. And even in Nairobi, it was selected areas, not all the residential areas saw this kind of demonstrations. And in many parts of the country, apart from the central region, Nairobi, Mombasa town, and I think Kisii, that's it. And I think also there were some pockets of demonstration in Eldoret. That was all of it. So this was not a Gen Z demonstration. The Gen Z demonstration that we've always seen happens across the country, even in the villages. And there were a lot of observations that we saw in these demonstrations. In these demonstrations, there was a lot of looting, A lot of looting took place, especially in Nyeri, Murang'a, and Nairobi. And like other demonstrations, it was clear that some people were just out to destroy, make a lot of destruction, and spoil these towns, cities. Like in Nairobi, they were destroying even streetlights, So that was one observation that I observed. Before I delve so much into the video, I want to very quickly ask you, the viewer who is watching this video currently, please, this is a passionate appeal. Subscribe to this channel so that you help us reach 1,000 subscribers. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, which is very crucial. Currently, we are at 600 subscribers, 640. We are basically just looking for 400 special people who can bless us by subscribing so that we hit 1,000 subscribers, which is very crucial. And for those who have already subscribed, we don't take it for granted. We thank you so much, and God bless you, all of you. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Another observation was that some more deaths occurred and injuries. So if these demonstrations were to commemorate last year's fallen Gen Zs, now there are more Gen Zs that have died. The media is reporting around 15, But those are just the few that maybe get to the media. What about some that don't get to the media? So it was more losses and losses that occurred in the country, And also there was, at some point, I observed that the government ordered a shutdown of live coverage from media houses, And this is something that I don't support. If there's something's happening in the country, media should be set free to air them the way they are happening raw. The government is saying that maybe the media, by its live coverage, it ends up inciting more people to go into the streets, you know. But that doesn't matter. Whoever wants to go to the street will go. And in this age, even there are people streaming these live coverages live on YouTube and Twitter and even TikTok. So blocking the mainstream media does not really help much, you know. And they even went ahead and switched off some media stations that did not stop, showing the live demonstrations, you know. And that was a bad gesture, and it has to be called out. Even if it happened during Uru's government, it was wrong. And even now when it's happening in Ruto's government, it's still wrong. You know, last year we saw Matiang'i condemn and shut down some televisions.
We have commenced a wide-scale investigation targeting individuals and organizations who include but may not be limited to certain media houses. We will act decisively but strictly according to the law. As long as those investigations continue, there are certain actions that are going to remain in place. For example, the media houses will remain switched off until we have completed some of the investigations that we are carrying out. We took the decision yesterday to proscribe the National Resistance Movement. It is a criminal organization. It is not a political party. It is a group of individuals who are bent on mayhem and anarchy. And let's not make any mistake or pretenses about this. It is a group of individuals intended to incite members of the public against a constitutionally instituted government.
Another thing that we saw is that there was a lot of reaction in the aftermath of the demonstrations. Parliament condemned whatever happened, and many legislatures were trying to associate the demonstrations with the opposition. They are trying to associate the demonstrations with the opposition because in the demonstrations, we saw that in most cases, people are chanting, Ruto must go. People are chanting one term. So it's easily able to be associated with the opposition. And it goes without saying that actually the opposition were trying to earn mileage in these demonstrations. So as to whether they funded them is what we cannot ascertain. But they were trying to also, get mileage on these demonstrations.
Need to change and change constitutionally. How do we change that constitutionally? The appeal is to all Kenyans to vote this government out, so that we come back and reset. What the police will be concerned with is to make sure that nobody breaks into any shop to loot. If the police were working here peacefully with these people, I can assure you, nobody would have excitement. You expect people to be excited, and when they are excited, that is not violence. Tell me, what have these people broken? You were here, the media people. You saw what was going on. Did they break any building? They were just excited and singing. And saying, we want justice. That's what we want. So the best way, and I want to appeal to all Kenyans to seriously think about voting in a government that will respect the law, that will call the country to order, and that's what we are appealing. So you have seen it for yourselves, and let's leave it at that. And I'm sure the Kenyans have seen, because you were here. Your cameras were there. The Kenyans have seen, and I can testify They didn't, none broke or threatened to break to any building. It is just excitement walking, and they delivered the petition. If they had left us alone, we would have now been at Parliament and presented the petition, and people would have walked away.
Also, we saw Kimani Ichung'wah in Parliament saying that people were sent to his home and that to frustrate his parents, and even maybe they were trying to injure his father who is elderly, you know. And these are things that you have to condemn. When we are demonstrating, people should focus on the demonstrations. If you have a petition, you take them to the right places. And in my earlier video, I also said that if this was actually a Gen Z demonstration, then commemoration, then they should have organized a mass somewhere so that people know very well that you're leaving the house, going to certain mass. After the mass, maybe if there's a procession, we have a procession and present a petition, if there's one, for justice to be served for the families who lost their loved ones. But what we saw yesterday was now just people just went into the wreckage and they destroyed everything. And I want to talk to our fellow Kenyans. You see, this kind of destruction that we put in our country will make the country stall. And in our lifetime, we'll not even have a Dubai in Kenya. We'll not even have a level of development that we see in other countries. You know? Because if, say, the governor of Nairobi tries to put streets in the, street lights everywhere, floodlights, street lights, traffic lights, dustbins, you know, marking everything, some monuments in town, decorations, and then with just one demonstration, we end up destroying everything. You know, you take the country 15 years back, you know, and then the governors will then come, try to rectify things because the country, the city center cannot run without street lights. They try to fit everything. So all the funds that were meant to do other things, like roads, are being redirected to fix the immediate things that have been spoiled, like street lights and traffic lights. And then after they've fixed all these things, 1 month, 2 months, then again we call another demonstration, then we destroy things again, then we go back again 10 years. This will not make our country move forward. You know, we need to take examples of developed countries, the way they demonstrate. You know, after notifying the police, if the police are going to also not beating demonstrators, the demonstration should just be peaceful, follow the guidelines, the demarcated areas that you are supposed to go through, present your petition, and go home. We saw a very good example, like the demonstration that happened in Mombasa. If we start observing peaceful demonstrations, then we are going to be ahead democratically in our region. But with the kind of mayhem that we see, we will continue, taking our country behind. If you have watched this video up to this point, we kindly urge you to consider subscribing, because we are going to, so that you can be able to be finding our videos that we are going to continue to produce. If you subscribe, YouTube will continue proposing our videos to your timeline. And with that having been said, I want to thank you for watching this video up to this point. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Thank you so much.